bitches wanna fuck. All these 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 bitches wanna fuck.
Where did it all start? Obviously, you can trace mobile games back to the earliest mobile phones, but mobile games did not really take off until Nokia launched Snake. Still the most famous mobile game, Snake first appeared in 1997 on the Nokia 6610. It has been estimated that over 400 million copies have been shipped since, and it's now in its 8th version. Not bad for a game that started life as some black squares moving on a green background. Now, Snake was all very well and good, but if mobile games were to really progress, you needed a way to buy new games. If Snake and those early embedded versions of Tetris and the like were Generation 1 of mobile games, the next step, something we will call Generation 2, were WAP games. Here comes the science bit. Officially known as the Wireless Application Protocol, or WAP, is a technology standard developed to enable mobile devices to connect to the internet. The company that did the most to develop this was called Unwired Planet, although it took a few years to come up with anything very useful. But by the late 1990s, it had created a microbrowser that could run on mobile phones and a version of the web it called UP-Link. Together with Ericsson, Nokia, and Motorola, the WAP forum kicked off, ensuring standardization at least in Europe. In Japan, market-leading operator NTT Docomomo came up with its own iMode standard instead. In the end though, these were both roughly the same thing. A small web browser built into the phone that allowed you to connect to a server and transfer data to your phone. Of course, back in 1999, the web was a much simpler place. No Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, Flickr, or Twitter. And lots of people still hadn't fired up their modems and dial-up connections to use the information superhighway, to which Al Gore had just to put the finishing touches. Hence, the idea of surfing it on your phone sounded incredible.
UK operator BT Cellnet, now O2 UK, got very excited about this too, with its Surf the BT Cellnet adverts giving a vivid impression of what using WAP would be like. Quickly moving through a matrix-like world overflowing with interesting information. Unfortunately, the reality was 4 lines of black text on a green background, and some simple monochrome graphics. Still, this might not have been such a problem if people had wanted to do what Unwired Planet envisioned they would with WAP. Looking up the price of your shares might have been the big thing in 1999 for everyone at phone.com. But the rest of the world wanted to do fun things on their fancy new Nokia 7110s, which incidentally, as well as being the first Nokia with a WAP browser, also was the first to feature Snake 2. So it was the game designers started to think about what they would do with WAP. As a connected technology, one nice aspect was that handling multiplayer games was relatively simple, especially board games such as Noughts and Crosses and Connect 4. What you couldn't do, however, was fast action, so WAP Snake 2 was a non-starter. Although 7110 owners could play a local 2-player version using their phone's nifty infrared connections. Neat. The bottom line, however, was that as much as we look back and laugh at the early hype combined together, mobile phones and WAP created a basic ecosystem that would allow developers to make games and sell them over the air to willing mobile players. All it now needed was billions of dollars of venture capital money, some bright ideas, and some very big servers. And we would all be happily playing games on our mobile phones.
Bet! Sabong.
Ano yung type mo?
Sabong.
Oh shit.
Sino mananalo dyan?
Siya, kasi mataas na ano na to eh. Mahina lang yung players ko. Kahit ko na nga lang nila.
Simulan mo. Ano yan? Pa-apoy?
Parang take.
Second na yun.
Pero madumi.
Kaya pala.
It is on how we behave even on awful situations that unveils our true self, not on merely blaming it all in such things like mobile games. Undeniably, mobile gaming is shaping the world today. Mixed views and opinions are surging, but we are certain on one thing, that everything is good but in moderation. It depends on how we manage time and priorities. It's never right to condone any form of addiction, so for me, if it's too much, there must be something wrong. People who have this should learn how to handle their own lives, like their actions, emotions, priorities, etc., and start winning in life, not just in mobile gaming. They tend to wrongly associate and manage their emotions from the real world instead of facing it right then and there. It might help for a while, but it will just turn into this mess of a cycle if not fixed. Yes, because our world today is run by technology. Hey, think of it as an escape for their lives, trying to forget every kind of stress they're having at the moment. Thinking as if running from a problem is going to be able to fix it, a chance for them to push their feelings aside. Undeniably, mobile gaming is shaping the world today. Mixed views and opinions are surging, but we are certain on one thing, that everything is good but in moderation. It depends on how we manage time and priorities. It is on how we behave even on awful situations that unveils our true self, not on merely blaming it all in such things like mobile games. Just like the other things in the world, the effect of mobile games still depends on the subjectivity of an individual towards his relation to the modern world. Either good or bad, it is always the user's responsibility to manage whatever the effect might be. Though, they are the one who will make their own choices at the right place and time. Their path is still destined to something they expect the least.